Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly tarot reading. Oh, did you see that? That was the Ten of Cups. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages there as well. And if you're interested in a personal reading, have a look at the description box below. You'll find my email and we can set one up for you if you'd like. All right, my friends, let's get started here. What is the current energy around Sagittarius for the week ahead? We saw that Ten of Cups peek through when I picked up the deck, and now we see the Queen of Wands. So Sagittarius, this really guides me to sort of see a quality emerging within you this week that's really coming to light. You know, you might be finding yourself feeling, extra motivated, extra sort of geared up to do something that carries a lot of meaning for you. And it almost feels like a form of self-expression that gets you really excited about sharing something. And it feels really positive and very connected to you, Sagittarius. This is could also be an energy that is surrounding you through another person right now, that you maybe have made a connection with someone that's really inspiring you to be creative and passionate and confident, to really boldly express yourself. And it's sort of an energy that's not just focused on the self actually, but to sort of empower others as well. So you may be doing that, or you may have come into a relationship with someone like that, and they're really very active with you right now and sort of bringing this quality that you carry up to the surface. So feels very positive, feels very motivated, and it feels like it's really expressive, and that there's this energy of enthusiasm and empowerment surrounding this excitement. Let's see what would be challenging Sagittarius to bring this expression. Okay, so that's very interesting. The mind is the challenge, and you're being guided to bring that mind into rest. You could also be sort of maybe doing too much, and this card is sort of saying to you, you need time to recover from doing too much, or from a time where you felt maybe that something happened that you took personally. Because when I see the Four of Swords, I'm reminded that it comes after the Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords is a time where we have maybe had something pierce our hearts. We may have taken something personally, and it has maybe affected how we feel about ourselves. So it's almost like the Four of Swords is showing up to say the only thing standing in your way right now is just a period of recovery. Once you're ready to unleash your full potential, there'll be no stopping you. And you may just need a little rest or period of recovery, depending on what's been going on recently for you, because this is a general reading. That's going to be different for everyone. So if some of you have experienced a separation from someone, or some harsh words that sort of stuck with you, and maybe you're replaying those in your mind and feeling kind of disempowered, it's almost like you need this period of recovery to really fully step into your full strength and your full power. So take that as it resonates, my friend. But ultimately, it may be helpful for you to put that mind to rest, or to put your body to rest for a little while, until you're ready to really be at 100%, and really express yourself confidently and without any limited beliefs about yourself is also coming through. Now, let's see what's on the surface here for Sagittarius. The Knight of Swords. So, it almost feels like there has been something going on for you, Sagittarius, that is sort of reorganizing things around you right now and bringing in some change. Now, whenever change is in the picture, we all respond differently to change. Some of us get excited about change because it means that the status quo is going to shift, and that could bring in some new energies as long as we're receptive to that. And for others of us, the Knight of Swords could represent changes that make us uncomfortable, that we're happy with the way things are. We don't want to see any change. We might be feeling settled, and now we feel uprooted. I'm sort of getting this visual in my mind of a plant being uprooted from one pot into another pot, and the plant is sort of thinking to itself, I was fine in that pot. I didn't need to move. But another plant might be like, oh, finally, now my roots have room and I can spread and I can grow taller. It's interesting. It's almost like you're getting this sort of, almost like an upgrade is the only word coming to mind, but that in order to process the upgrade, you might need to sort of be in a reset mode for a little while until you adapt to your new environment, your new surroundings, these new changes, and you feel confident. And then it's like, again, there'll be no stopping you kind of thing. Very interesting. Bottom of the deck is the Six of Swords in reverse, which again makes me feel like you may have to get distance from some negative thinking, some limited beliefs, some conversations that you're holding in your mind and you're replaying them over and over, and they just keep re-traumatizing you. And it's sort of this energy that we need to sort of put the stop button. We need to push that stop button and then change the record, right? Like not listening to the same messages over and over again that don't serve us, and in an attempt to sort of understand them on a greater level, perhaps that might be the intention, but ultimately what it does is that it just depletes you and drains you. And you can see in this card, the figure is moving away from these shorelines that have wounded her, because she knows that by ruminating and thinking about them and rehashing it, she's reliving the trauma. So there may be some elements of that here for you as well, Sagittarius. Let's see what's on the bottom of this. What is at the root? Yeah, healing. The Star card. I feel like for someone that is listening right now, hopefully this message has reached you. You've just undergone through, I can't think of the word I'm trying to use, undergone through? I don't know. Anyway, you've just gone through, let's just leave it at that. You've just gone through something that you need to recover from. And seeing the Star in reverse tells me that you may be at a point where you really do need this boost of the Queen of Wands, because the Star card in reverse can sometimes indicate that we've lost faith in ourselves, or that we feel a lack of belief in ourselves, that we may have a lot of self-doubt about what we can achieve. And there may be some limited beliefs around that have come from a certain situation that keeps coming through. But that'll only be for some of you. But it does feel like recovery and then full power, like going full tilt after that, with this sort of idea that there'll be nothing that can stop you. Once you're in your full power, this narrative or this old story that you're maybe recovering from right now, or sort of getting yourself back to a place where you see yourself outside of that narrative. You're not using that narrative to define you anymore, that old story. It really feels like that is going to change the landscape of things around you quite a lot, with that Knight of Swords and this Queen of Wands. But ultimately, recovery seems to be important here for you. Six of Swords still on the bottom of the deck. So we're getting distance from things that feel like they're just limiting our story, and sometimes those stories are associated with people. So there may be some relationships that you're looking at this week, Sagittarius, and thinking, does this relationship serve me anymore? And that's not a selfish question in the sense of something has to be of service to you, but kind of, you know what I mean? Like, if it's draining you, it's not of service to you, and if it's bringing in this sort of feeling of alignment, then it is of service to you, even if there's nothing happening in the relationship that actually gives you something. It's just energy, right? Like, if the energy drains you, then it doesn't serve you to stay in that energy. Do you know what I mean? If that energy creates sort of an alignment with your highest good, then it serves you. So really, really some food for thought there. Let's see what the guidance is for Sagittarius here. Eight of Pentacles. So you're about, I really can't help but feel like once you're at a place where you're ready to rock, you're going to get to work on something that feels to me like you're going from student to master. Like seeing that Eight of Pentacles is really a message of someone getting to the core of something and really working it, you know, really working it and becoming a master at a skill, having a skill that they, with patience and determination, end up becoming a master at this. This is sort of that idea of the Queen of Wands, the idea of finding something that you feel really passionate about and then getting to work on it. And that in and of itself could be very healing for you and allow you to get that sort of confidence back. You know, this is really a time for you to perfect something by doing it over and over and over again until you become a master at it. Consistency, right? Consistency, study, practice. These are all things that allow us to really become a master at something. And don't even look at the word perfection, because that's not even here. This is about consistency, dedication, determination, working at something because it feeds your soul. It's something that you love, and it's something that feeds your soul and your energy in a very positive way. And it's something that you naturally want to dedicate yourself to, Sagittarius. So find your plan to do that. Find your way to that place. That's your guidance in this reading, is really to sort of find your way towards working on something that really feeds your soul in a powerful way and allows you that space to see yourself outside of certain limited narratives. Let's see what the potential outcome is here for Sagittarius. It's the 6. You're coming into balance, and I can't help but think that you're coming into balance from a place where it wasn't balanced. But the outcome is balance. You're going to achieve this balance, and it feels like it's a balance that you achieve through dedicating yourself to something that you love. Not by listening to old narratives that say that doesn't work and this won't work and you're going to have to do this instead. It's interesting. This 6 of Pentacles tells me that there is this sort of positive, generous mindset that is awakening within you. And it sort of shows you the truth about what happens when we're really focused on that heart-centered gratitude and abundance and the opening up of new resources coming our way as a result of sort of focusing on things that resonate with us instead of things that don't resonate, that we choose out of fear. Do you know what I mean, Sagittarius? Like when we make choices out of fear, we are not in alignment with ourselves. And so then everything starts to just feel like there's a lack of ease and grace and joy. And sometimes people push through that somehow. And I caution, if you're a push through kind of person, just some food for thought. Ask yourself, at what cost? Like, at what cost are you going to keep pushing through something that's not for you? Instead of actually dedicating yourself to something that really resonates with you, something that you through choice want to dedicate yourself to. You know what I mean? And it really feels like it opens things up big time for you here, Sag. So let's see here. Bottom of the deck is the King of Wands. So you got the Queen and the King. So that tells me also that you're balancing your masculine and your feminine energies. Right now, it feels like your feminine energy is being blocked by needing to recover. So your feminine energy represents things like your creativity, your passion, your intuition, your expression, your you know, your desire to create community and to share yourself with others. The masculine energy of this card is the one that is more decisive, action oriented, and takes decisions and makes choices and dedicates and works towards things. So it feels like by sort of balancing yourself out, you're going to have the perfect recipe for your own success here. But that is a personal journey you take. When I see the Star card, that's a journey you take for you. You know, really interesting reading. I really like the flow of how the guidance is feeling for me even. Look at that. Change in the wind, time to go. There's something you've got to leave behind and move towards something else instead. It really feels, Sagittarius, like if this is resonating for you, then you know what that thing is, because it's a very personal thing, and it feels like it's unique to you. You know, it's not, you know, something that, I guess the word coming to mind is that it's not something conventional. It's unique. It's personal. It's personally meaningful. It might not mean anything to anyone else, but it means a whole heck to you. You know what I mean? Let's see what the overall energy surrounding Sagittarius is here and now. This has to happen, Sagittarius. You're really being given an invitation in the now to not look at the future or to look at the past, but to really focus on you in the now and what you want to do in the now. Not anyone else, but what do you want to do? What do you want to dedicate yourself to? What changes do you want to see shift so that you can move towards something that feels really personally meaningful, you know? And the bottom of the deck is your higher power, which I love seeing, because that makes me feel like your higher self, your higher power. This is feeling very much like a why you're here kind of reading, you know, that this moment means something because it's one of the things that was on the checklist before you came here in this lifetime. This moment was on that list, and it was like, I'm going to do the following. Here you are in the now, and it feels like that it's time for that idea to happen. It's time for you to put some of yourself into that idea. Really, really interesting. Let's see what's a good question for Sagittarius this week to reflect on. Now, these are just questions of reflection, you know. Don't judge yourself so that you slip into denial and then you get defensive. Just think about it, you know. Questions for reflection. What is mending? You got the heal card. This does feel like a recovery reading, like we talked about. There's something that's healing in that star card. There's something within you that is healing and mending. What is it? What are you healing or mending in the now? Oh, a whole card situation here. Okay, let me get a little dude here to hold this. Ooh. You got one of my singing bowls decided, and that's the solar plex. That's trying to give you some confidence, that gong. Bottom of the deck is, am I carrying myself with love? So two very good questions of reflection for this week. What is mending? What is healing within me as I step into the now? And am I carrying myself with love? Strut. As you're healing, are you carrying yourself with that unconditional love? And it's funny because just as I was pulling these cards, I said, don't judge yourself, because then you're going to end up sitting in denial and you'll get defensive. So just questions for your own reflection. Are you carrying yourself with love? And what within you needs mending at this time? And what are you mending? Right? Really interesting. Okay, final deck. Let's see, what does Sagittarius... What would serve Sagittarius to surrender or surrender to this week? Surrender or surrender to. Okay, hang on, you can't see that, but I can. Hang on, just want to go through the whole deck. Okay. Now, the way this deck is written, we have to sort of interpret a little bit. Okay, I'll show you those two. I want to show you the bottom of the deck first. The bottom of the deck is surrender to divine timing. And seeing that here and now card, I can't help but think that this is the time for you to do something that I think you, again, if this is resonating for you, you know what that thing is. So it's time, Sagittarius. That's your sign right there. Now, the first card that came out is surrender your need to always be right. What this means to me is this whole idea about getting defensive. This idea that, you know, being flexible about what you believe about a certain situation is going to be really important here. And it feels to me like the way the card is written, it says, give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. I feel like what this card is really trying to say is that you don't have to have the same definition of what's right as other people. You can let other people be right. Don't engage in a battle to convince someone that you're right and they're wrong. Maybe from their perspective, they're right, and maybe from your perspective, you're right. All that really matters is what you think is true for you. Don't send yourself on a mission to try to convince anyone about what you're doing. You just do it because it makes sense for you. That's what I'm feeling with this card. And the next card is the same. The way it's written sort of sounds like it's about something else, but what I'm seeing here is a different message. The card is surrender your addictions, and it says whether you're addicted to substances, food, people, sex, or overworking, take action to begin to heal the addiction and replace it with a healthier alternative. Now, if that message resonates for you, great. But what I'm picking up on for this card is the idea of healthier alternatives to anything that is removing our power. Because this whole reading started with the Queen of Wands, right? Very empowered, but being blocked by something that is in the mind. And so that makes me feel like there's something that you need to look at and heal, as we saw in this card as well, because it's holding you back. And what is an addiction other than something that disempowers us and we become hooked on it? So it's like there's something in your narrative, in your mind, that you need to replace with something healing. And it feels to me like by replacing that, you will no longer feel dependent on whatever that thing is. Like if it's people's opinions about you, then you won't need those opinions anymore. They won't have power over you anymore, because you've decided that you don't have to convince anyone that you're right and that they're wrong. Everyone can have their own perception. And it almost feels like this reading is guiding you there, you know, to that message that says, you just focus on whatever it is that lights you up. You don't need anyone to agree with it, and you don't need anyone to understand it. In fact, that could end up creating confusion for you, because it feels like if people project their fears onto you, there's a space here for that to impact you. And that's really what opinions of other people amount to, is that you tell someone you're going to go take an adventure, you're going to hear what their perception of adventure is. Some people might be like, yeah, that sounds awesome, go for it. And other people might be like, are you crazy? You know, why would you go and do something like that? And that's because that's their perception of whatever it is that you're up to here. So take it as it resonates, my friends. A lot of food for thought in this reading. I know I'm going to be thinking about it too. And I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. I hope it's been helpful. And I look forward to reading for you again soon, my friends. Sending you so much love and encouragement. Take care.